Welcome to the fourth and last match for today. Spawning on Kinsajon Station to the bottom right hand corner in purple, playing for Team Rival and the USA, it's Koshkii. And to the top left hand corner, doing the extractor trick! Playing in teal as Zerk for Team Hush and the US as well, it's NoveaStar. So, Koshkii not doing any sort of early Nexus shenanigans, playing the safe route, going gateway. So let's see what Koshkii has up her sleeves this time around. On paper, she is the favorite of the series. She's rank 1 right now, having won all of her first 3 matches. I think Novea is not very far behind her after week 3. We'll see how everything looks after this match. But of course, Koshkii has had the chance to study Novea's play throughout Season 1 and throughout Season 2 as well. And I bet she has prepared for this match a little bit, knowing, as we do, or at least I do, and maybe if you're not new and a regular viewer, you should know as well, that Novea just loves her muta play. I mean, I think we have yet to see a single match played by Novea where she doesn't try to get mutas out. So, Koshkii might be able to just make an advantage out of that, knowing what her opponent is probably going into. So either just hit her opponent before she actually can get out enough mutas in order to kill her before that, or just prepare accordingly going into the late game with an anti-muta composition. So we'll see if this is going to work out for her or not and what she wants to do. So, metabolic boost incoming, nothing all too special. Overlords getting positioned. One towards the third base, one towards the high ground in order to get some vision over this entrance here to see if units are moving out or not. In the meantime, Koshkii just teching like crazy and going into her favorite robotics facility build. So probably going to be an immortal all-in once more by her, probably. Can't really guarantee it yet, but it looks awfully suspicious. So if I'm not mistaken, we're going to see immortals and warp prisms out of this robotics facility, and later on she'll add just a lot of gateways in order to get a good push going that will just overwhelm her opponent before she will be able to get mutas out. So there's the warp prism. Okay, spawning pool almost finished the research. Okay, we have an evolution chamber here, but of course, yeah, the same thing also applies to Novea. Novea just has, of course, the same possibilities to study her opponent to see what Koshkii is doing. And I mean, she knows who Koshkii is. She knows how far up she was last season and how far up she is this season, what a capable player she is, and she might also well prepare, or might have also prepared very well for this match, so maybe she studied her opponent as well and will metagame her. There's always the possibility. Novea just checking for a third. That's the important scout, seeing that it's almost 4 minutes done and no base getting thrown down. Of course, it could still get done. 4 minutes is still okay-ish for a Protoss player, but of course she really wants to keep that in check. If it's 5 minutes and there's no third base, your alarm bells should ring like crazy. So that's what normally is going on. Okay, actually, Koshkii not really checking the third base with a mothership core here, trying to deny the scouting from the third base, but there's also an overlord in position as well that Novea can just easily fly in if she wants and use for scouting purposes later. So, in the meantime, Novea just trying to use the little breathing pause she gets here, trying to squeeze out a few more drones. There's the charge incoming. We already have one immortal down in the warp prism, the second one in production. There are the other gateways coming. Where more? There should be more. Here comes one more. Yeah, she normally just wants to line them up together with the upgrade. So once the upgrade is done, all of the gateways should be done as well, so she can really unleash the wrath of God onto Novea here with a warp prism and all of the warp gates plus the immortals. So we might even see, and there it is, a Dark Shrine behind it, because it's just an integral part of that build. And here the Warp Prism flies right above that Overlord. Doesn't really care about being seen. I don't care if you see my push, you won't be able to stop it anyways. Okay, so there the Immortals now getting dropped. We also have some Zealots in place. Yeah, and the only thing that Novea now has are mostly Lings. Actually in a good position right here. She could just also try to take them down, but Koshkii, being really aware of that, just keeps these Immortals close to a Warp Prism so that she can always move them in. Okay, this Lings are actually could get really dangerous towards these Immortals, but Koshkii just also throwing on the upgrade now has the Immortals in range, in the pickup range of the Warp Prism, so it becomes really difficult to take these Immortals down, and they also have a lot of hit points. And then of course Lings alone just won't cut it against Speedlots here. I mean, they don't even have the armor upgrade, do they? No. They will get the melee attack upgrade, but that really won't help them against the Zealots. Ooh, Immortals a little bit out of place. That could be really problematic here for Koshkii, but she just retreats them a little bit without losing any of them. Now just has to step back a little bit and wait for the shields to regenerate. In the meantime, taking out the third base, which is already a small victory in itself. Novea has just finally started her Spire, but it's far away from getting done. And like I said before, Koshkii just playing her opponent here, knowing exactly what Novea is up to right from the get-go, knows that she would be trying to go into Mutas as fast as possible, and just abuses the fact, knowing her opponent so well, attacks before she can actually have a decent defense, and Koshkii takes the first game. It's Frozen Temple. And to the bottom right, in purple, we see our Protoss player, Koshkii, who's just leading 1-0. And to the top left, in teal, it's our Zerg NoveaStar, who might need to change up her plan a little bit, because in the first game, Koshkii just saw right through her. Going for a gateway expand. Yeah, Koshkii always playing the safe route. She also wants to have the early gateway because she likes to do her timing pushes. And timing pushes, as the name says, rely on a timing. And rely on teching and having certain tech at a certain point in time. And in order to have that, you usually don't want to delay your tech for too long. So getting down the necessary buildings for your tech path is very relevant in these kinds of gameplays. So sometimes it's of course okay to start with a Nexus first, because it's part of your teching up and getting the units at that point in time, because then sometimes in order to get everything you just need the economy a little bit earlier. But very often a timing push, especially a very early timing push, just needs to get the tech out as soon as possible, and that's why you want to start with the gateway first, even if you expect your opponent to go hedge first, which actually Novea does not do. She really mixes it up, like I said, and goes for one base build so far. Obviously just wants to go through with a Baneling bust here, it seems. I think we might have seen her trying that against another Protoss player. Did she already play Poison, or am I mixing up things here? Can't really say right now, but she might have done that on that particular map even, since again this is of course the most obvious map to do that. And interestingly, Koshkii doesn't know anything because she refused to scout after the gateway, so that's quite interesting here, and could now come back to haunt her. I mean, she has the Cybernetics core out, she has the possibility to warp in adepts, and she also, or at least, yeah, warp in via the long route, and also produce a Mothership core, which will be out in just a few seconds. So I think she should be fine. There's the mailing nest. I mean, until Novea just really manages, the pylon is pretty far in front. There's a little bit of surface area here where actually just like 3 to 4 banelings, well 3 mostly, could just crush in at once. And once these gateways are unpowered and there's no pylon left for photon overcharge, well, this could get pretty problematic to hold. And there finally Koshkii realizes what's happening. The Lings are already moving in, there's no gap in the wall, it's a tight wall here, so no chance for Novea to just run by with most of the Lings. She only has 3 banelings here, and the 3 banelings not enough to take down that pylon with the help of the Lings. So it kinda seems as if she just has to retreat with all of her banelings for now, trying to contain her opponent with just what she has, but with the adapt around, the photon overcharge and the mothership core, she won't really be able to do anything. And now unfortunately Novea is just in the same position that Shnubi was in her game against Miyako. She's just wasted so many resources into an early push that didn't deal any damage. I think she either... I don't know. I mean, Shnubi at that point at least had her base already done and tried to take a third just because she knew she was already infinitely behind. But Novea is even more behind right now. She invested so many resources into a push that actually just did nothing. I'm sorry to say that. No, she won't be able to take that building down. I mean, she can just lure out more and more of these photon overcharges here. Koshkii, in the meantime, just has already put down another pylon just in case this one should get torn down by banelings. But, I mean, there's like no chance in hell for Novea to just come back on 2 bases while her opponent already has 34 workers to 23. As the second base saturated, this, like I said, this is not going to die. I mean, Koshkii now gives away that she has an immortal, but again, I mean, giving away her build or giving away her intentions of just playing the same push once more with the immortals and the speed lots doesn't even matter, because on just a barely gotten second base, Novea will never be able to produce enough units. I mean, she was not able to produce enough units on 3 bases going right into mute attack on the last map. How will she ever be able to hold a push that's not even been delayed, mostly? I mean, the only delay that really happened was like that one additional pylon she had to throw down, and it's not really a delay because she needed to throw down pylons anyways. So like Koshkii's build is like not delayed at all, while Novea is behind like crazy. I mean, what can she do from here on out? This push will just shrek her. No way she can get back into that game. I mean, it's the anti-hype. I'm really sorry. But I think she should have just tried to commit and then just tap out once it didn't work. Just morph banelings like crazy, trying to break through, trying to surprise her with a full committed attack, and then just crossing the fingers hoping it would work. But retreating seems a little bit indecisive to me here. Yeah, and there they are. We have the first. That's just coming in at the third. Sees there's no third here. Now there's just this short little moment where you come in and think, oh, maybe she has enough to hold this push, but no. Yeah, morphing some Ravagers, they might help out. The most important part of this build is the Warp Prism. If she can take out the Warp Prism, she might have a chance of a snowball in hell to win this, but with just a few Roaches and Ravagers. Oh, the Lynx are actually quite nice. Just moving back here, but I think it's still not going to work. She, again, can just always load in the Immortal if she wants, just moves out a few more units over here. Nice micro there by Koshkii as well. Well, even the Banelings just crushing in here once more, but like I said, as long as the Warp Prism does not die, this push still does a tremendous amount of damage. And even if she doesn't manage to kill her right now, Koshkii is still in the lead. Oh, now the DTs are coming in. Yeah, didn't really watch at the Dark Shrine, but it was typical to come, and there it is. I mean, there's not even an Overseer in place. This DT is just going to kill off so many workers in the meantime. The rest of the units just getting kept busy by the Immortals and by the Zealots over here. So yeah, it's just a tricky composition. You need to be well prepared for this push in order to deal with it, and Novea just couldn't be prepared after her initial all-in build that didn't work out. GG, and Koshkii takes the second game for a 2-0 lead. New Gettysburg is our third map of this series. To the bottom left-hand side in purple leading to the O is our Protoss from Team Rival. It's Koshkii. Bottom right. And to the bottom left in teal, playing Zerg for Team Hush, it's NoveaStar. Doing the fancy graphic effects while introducing her. No, she's such a show-off. Yeah, Koshkii going for the same thing once more. Well, at least it's a gateway expand. We know that much. Can't really tell what else is coming. But yeah, Koshkii winning 2 times in a row using the same build. Pulling a full Azelus here. Just kidding. So, and Novea moving out, placing the hatchery. This time around, no cheesy shenanigans. Just tries to go into her standard usual macro game. Hatch first, into gas, into pool. Koshkii this time around is going to scout it. Okay. But yeah, it didn't really do her much damage in the last game, but could have been way worse. Like I said, if there had been more banelings, Koshkii might have actually lost that game at that point. With the breakthrough through that pylon, just like six or seven banelings, and then the banelings just breaking through the pylon, there would have been nothing there. One unpowered gateway, photon overcharge not available. Okay, she would have had one mothership core. That would have helped out a bit, and also the adept, which she could have maybe even snuck into that gap over there. But yeah, she might have been killed with like lings being rallied across the map, and maybe even some more banelings in the mix. It could have actually killed her, I think. Still not easy. Not an easy task, but it could have at least dealt a lot of damage then. Ooh, Koshkii. Wow! Another unusual mistake there by Koshkii, just losing a probe like that. Not moving him back after it was picked on for like 5 or 6 seconds. So, like I said, a little bit unusual blunder there. Don't really know why she didn't move away that probe to somewhere else. Although you always get a signal once your probe gets attacked. Our probes are under attack! We all know how it sounds if you watch the Carbot cartoons. And I think this is one of my favorite episodes, the Protoss one, where the Protoss announcer just states, or just throws all the lines in. You must place that in a power field. Just so funny to watch. Okay, first adept is out, and just filling the gap here. So Koshkii in the meantime could expand quite easily, and we have an evolution chamber incoming plus spawning pool. So it seems as if Novea might be doing some Dropperino here and deal some early damage once more. Once speed is done, we might see a few links and then a Dropper Lord being morphed in order to get into the base and just move around this gateway here. Okay, this time around we have a straight up DT build, so no all-in with Immortals and Speedlots for now, but rather straight up Dark Shrine. Novea actually would have the chance to scout this, flying in with an Overlord. I mean, there's one pylon over here, but it's just too close to the Dark Shrine in order to deny the scouting. So let's see. Okay, maybe no Dropperino, maybe just upgrades. Quite interesting there. Now finally takes Hatchery. So that's actually quite interesting. Just producing the upgrade that early on and even delaying the base for it. That was quite interesting there. And then again, I still don't know how much I like the Zerg melee attack. Usually against Protoss, you would rather like to have the shield upgrade the armor upgrade, in order to be able to just take more hits from Zealots, for example, especially after Koshkii just used Speedlots in both builds. You would rather have a little bit more sturdy Zerglings there. Don't really know how much it works against Adepts. I mean, Adepts do have 22 versus Light. So unfortunately we don't have a Zergling out, but I think Zerglings are 25 hit points, 30 hit points. So I think it doesn't really matter. Adepts will kill you in 2 shots no matter what, so even if you have the upgrade or not. And then maybe the melee attack is actually the better choice there against Adepts, because then it's easier for you to tear down the Adepts because you just deal more damage. So yeah, I think it's the problem to really find out early enough what your opponent is actually doing, if your opponent is going into Mass Zealots, which are pretty rare actually, or if your opponent just goes into Depths, and then maybe the attack upgrade might be the better choice. So this time around, Spire is pretty early, 5 minutes, and the Spire is halfway done. So seems as if Novea also just wants to go for some sort of muta timing attack around here, and I don't really know if Koshkii is going to prepare it for that. I mean, it's not really the DT build anymore, as we see, it's just Archon drop, and she just wants to use the DTs because they are a little bit less heavy on the gas, of course, first, and of course she will also be able to just use them more effectively throughout the whole match instead for High Templars, because the High Templars she can only move or morph into Archons and then just use them. Okay, this is actually a terrible engagement here for Novea, just moving in with most of these links, but actually there's just enough in order to surround most of them. Okay, and here we are. Like I said, Dark Templars always still being good, but there's a Spore Crawler just in position, just barely giving vision of that area so the links can actually take it out, and that harassment was not going too well for Koshkii here, not really doing any damage at all. Like 2 drones were the only things she really killed. Maybe she was trying to sneak something in over here as well, but there was a Spore Crawler and a Spine Crawler in place and also a few Queens, so it didn't really matter. And now Novea actually has her Mutas out. I mean, I guess Koshkii has the possibilities to morph Archons, but this, yeah, I mean, that's actually the only anti-air unit she has right now. Everything else can just only shoot the ground. She does have some pylons in position, but the Mothership Core is totally out of position. So if these mutas move into the main base mining just gets totally denied and torn apart if she doesn't react in time. And it seems as if even she wants to move out even more. I mean, yes, she has the Mothership Core with her, so she will always be able to just recall back to one base. But once the recall happens, the units, the mutas can just fly towards the other base and then just start killing worker lines over there. So this might be a really problematic situation. Oh, Novea actually even spots where the main army was going and just decided to move in right away, seeing that there were no anti-air units except for the Archon. Luckily for Koshkii, she just manages to get out before the mutas can focus fire down the Mothership Core and manages to retreat, warping in a few more Stalkers. But now actually I think this is just incidentally splitting up her army forces here. So the Muta could just fly in and kill off these units easily, or could just kill these units easily. So let's see. I mean, in the meantime, the Muta force has really risen. And we have also a lot of Zerglings in place as well. So wow, I mean, this is like a crazy amount of army. She could just easily move out, surround everything and kill it off. Of course, her main target should be the Mothership Core. She actually really wants to take that down so that the units can't really retreat. But Koshkii doesn't even actually try to recall out. Now the rest of the army dies. Mothership Core dies as well. The last remaining Immortal dies as well. The last remaining forces just retreat homewards. But I really can't see Koshkii coming back from that. I mean, she's on 2 bases. She again just prepared her all-in build, but this time with the Dark Shrine first and then later on going into... Actually, the plan was to go into Speedlots and Immortals, but now she of course needs way more Stalkers that don't even have Blink, but she tries to get it right now as we speak. But in the meantime, Novea just has a lot of time to gather more mutas, more Lings. And yeah, with the links just chewing through everything on the ground, the mutas can just easily clean up everything. Stalkers in small numbers are just terrible against mutas. GG, well played, and Novea takes the first game in this series. Just shorten the distance for a 1-2. Playing on Galactic Process, spawning to the bottom left-hand corner in purple, we have our Protoss player, Koshkii. And to the top right-hand side, in teal, playing Zerg for Team Hush, it's NoveaStar doing the Extractor trick. So, Koshkii maybe doing another iteration of her infamous Zealot Immortal push, or Adept Immortal push, or DTs into Adept Immortal Push, or DTs into Speedlot Immortal Push, or maybe doing something completely different this time around. We'll see. Hatchery first. Into gas, into pool. So let's see if Novea tries to do the same thing once more after it started so promising and worked out even better on on New Gettysburg, sorry. So Koshkii just gets a good scout, just sees the usual stuff, all routine for her. Cybernetics core going down. So far, it could be everything. Second gas being taken, also nothing all too unusual here. But the first tech choice will be the important giveaway. Seeing what she's going to build, what building she's going to construct after the cybernetics core finishes. Or after the cybernetics core has finished. Here it is, and what's it going to be? It's going to be the Robo! So yeah, probably another Immortal Warp Prism based push with some sort of gateway protection. Be it Zealots, be it Adepts, we'll see what it's going to be. Maybe Adepts, but this first Adept doesn't really tell us a lot. First Adepts, or the first one is usually Adept because it has just ranged attack and is also good against Lings in small forces. So yeah, an Adept is just the better choice in that case. If you can produce an Adept and you don't have to just produce a Zealot because there's an early pool build coming at you, then of course the Adept is always superior to the Zealot early on. In almost every regard. So, Warp Prism incoming. Let's see if Novea will be able to hold it this time around. Very early lair here. Going into the evolution chamber. It seems as if Novea actually wants to do the same thing once more. It's looking pretty similar to what she did on New Gettysburg. Only having the third base a little bit earlier this time around. Last time I think she even just saved up a little bit more money and resources to get out the +1 melee attack a little bit earlier here. And thus it took her quite some time to take a third base, but this time around it's a little bit earlier. So, and again, that might just hurt her, because getting the third out so early on will just delay her Spire by maybe a little bit. We'll see how it's actually going to work out. I mean, she just doesn't have that much gas, and that's just the big problem here. Last time around she just invested way more resources into Vespene Geysers, and of course way more workers into Geysers as well. So then her mineral income just was not as big, so she couldn't really take that third base as quickly as now. But she had more gas banked up once the Spire was done, so she could just build the Spire a little bit more early, and she could also just build more Mutas once the Spire popped. And then everything just worked out because the timing was so far ahead of Koshkii's timing push that she was just able to kill everything off with Mutas before the actual push even happened. But this time around, with the earlier third, it might not quite work out. We'll see if Koshkii's push is going to hit in 50 seconds. The Spire will be done in 60 seconds. Mutas take, we can't actually see that right now, but I think about 30 to 40 seconds to pop. So like her Mutas are about 1 minute away. Koshkii's push is about 50 seconds away. So, no, what did I say? Not a minute. 50 plus 40, like 90 seconds. And so that's about a 30 to 40 seconds difference here. So we'll see if she will be able to just get enough Mutas out. I mean, is she already banking up minerals? She is. So she's already banking up a lot of minerals and gas in order to get out her big Muta switch. Spire will be done in 20 seconds. So let's see if this is actually going to work out or not. She's just producing a few Zerglings, unfortunately, right now, so maybe she won't have enough lava backed up. She has 6 lava. That will make it possible. She's on 50 workers to 37. So if she just holds this push, she will look pretty great here. Unfortunately, not really target firing down the Warp Prism here, because like I said before, the Warp Prism really the important thing, but now finally starting to taking it down, getting all of these Stalkers as well and driving away the Warp Prism for now, but unfortunately it's still alive, and the 2 Mortals are as well. But now she should actually be able to just get out a few Mutas here. Okay, first 5, she was just so busy producing more Lings and more units and microing everything down here. Wow, these Zealots take out that Spinecrawler without any effort here. And now she just has to bridge the time until the Mutas pop. But it could just barely work out. The Lings just destroying mostly all of the Zealots. Unfortunately, just focus firing another one before the first one dies. And now 2 of them just barely alive while the other units just come in. 1 Muta gets almost shut down before it can actually just engage in combat. And now, of course, Koshkii just warping in only Stalkers with only a few Mutas around. It seems as if Koshkii just might barely have hit her timing a little bit sooner, like Novea did. Just like I said before, Unfortunately for Novea, just delaying her Spire by a little bit made her miss her timing over Koshkii's, and now Koshkii can just tear down everything. The natural base just dies. She tries to just move in with the units as the Broodlings spawn and deal some damage as well, but again, the Warp Prism is still alive, and that's just the most problematic factor of this build. As long as the Warp Prism lives, it becomes so incredibly difficult to stop this push from going on. The rest of the units dies. GG, and Koshkii wins the series with a 3-1.